Hello everyone, my name is Peter. I work at Lakeside Community Center. What we're going to look at today is, if you can see everything that's on the table, we're going to do a little bit about gardening. It's that time of year where some things can be planted outside and other things can be started inside. So what I have here today is this greenhouse kit. It has some soil, a number of different seeds, and several things that will just help me fill these containers with some soil. These containers all have holes in the bottom, so if there's water that's in this tray, they're going to continue to feed from the bottom. Once all the soil's in, the seeds are in, and everything's ready to go, I can turn this into a growing greenhouse with this cover and some sunlight. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some soil into these containers. So I have this bag of soil. Hopefully I'm not going to get too much dirt all over the place. And just going to start to fill up these pods or cells, however you look at it. Soil in all these different cells. So I'm going to not only plant this, but I'm going to keep track of what I'm putting where. So I have little sticks and my Sharpie so that I don't lose track of what's growing. So the first thing I'm going to plant are some cucumber seeds. Now, on the back, it tells us exactly on the seeds. It tells us how deep to put them. And then once they're ready to go outside, it'll tell you how far apart to plant them as well. So I'm just going to use this handy little stick, make little holes in this tray. I'm going to plant this little tray. The whole thing is going to be cucumbers. So roughly an inch deep. I have the seeds, dropping a seed in each one. If two happen to go in, I'm not going to worry because hopefully they both grow. So there, that whole cell is planted with cucumber. Cover those back over. I'm using this little stick to dig with, but I already marked one for cucumber. So I'll push it down to the bottom. That way the lid for the greenhouse tray will still work. While I'm starting everything in the tray, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything will go outside and be planted into a garden at the same time. Different plants will tolerate different amounts of cold. Right now you can put onions in the ground, you can put peas in the ground, but there's a number of things that are better started inside because frost will not be kind to them. So I just took a little old popsicle stick and my Sharpie, writing cucumber on it, indicating it, because it's a lot more guesswork if you haven't labeled your plants and then they start to grow and you're like, oh, I don't remember what that was. So you really want to know what you've planted. And again, that was the cucumber. One thing that I do have here is I have some flowers as well. A sweet pea flower. And the reason is you want to attract pollinators to your garden. So I'm also going to plant a few flowers in the vegetable box in the hopes that bees will like it, or some other critters that will bring pollen and help my garden even a little better. So everything's planted, everything's labeled. I brought these just as an example. When the tomato plants, obviously things here are going to grow, and tomato plants can't grow in the ground right away. You're going to want them a little larger. So these peat pots, when these are, I think they say 5 to 6 inches tall, you're going to transplant them. Just checking to see if those say tomatoes. Scotian tomatoes. There we go. So these tomatoes, when they're about 5 or 6 inches tall, you'll transplant them here. This can go directly outside when it's time, after that last frost. You can cut the bottom to help the roots come out easier, but these peat pots will break down, and you don't have to worry. You can plant them right in the soil. I'm not going to pour water everywhere because of where we're filming. I'm not about to get water all over the place. So water these, then you can put the cover over top with the moisture content. And once I put this in sunlight, between the sun, the moisture, and the seeds, before long we're going to have things growing. Hopefully you all can come back before long to see the progress of this. There are a couple of things that we want to make sure you're aware of. So there are a number of community gardens throughout Halifax. These plants are going to go to the one in Lakeside, into the boxes that the rec program uses for education around gardening. But one of my friends here, Deliska, she has some information on community gardens throughout the city and where to find that information.
If you don't have space to garden on your own property, there are a variety of community gardens located on municipal property throughout the region. Community gardens are small-scale sites for people to grow food, which are operated by non-profit groups. If you are interested in accessing space, you can visit the Parks and Recreation section of the Halifax.ca webpage for a list of local garden groups and locations. Connect with them to find out how to join.